Hello everybody and welcome back to the next video. This time we're gonna talk about 5 important things about sentry wards. So I want you guys to get your notes ready and listen to every single point if you wanna be a good support player. Number 1. Sentries got heavily nerfed in the patch 7.33b. So keep that in mind that sentries are way more important than before, especially because the map also got 40% bigger in the last patch. So please do not waste your sentries randomly or pray that there's a ward or something. Use your sentries effectively when you know the enemies placed a water or maybe placed a water because they were in this position before. So do not waste your sentries, especially in the first 25 minutes, because after that you can get a gem if you have a lead with your team and you can play around that. But do not waste your sentries in the first 20 or 25 minutes in the game too much, because you're gonna run out of them very quickly, and gem is gonna be a very big key component in every match when people will realize it in the meta as well. So yeah, think about it. Use all the advantages you can get if you play against invisibility heroes. Buy a gem, buy dust. Try to not use sentries as much to like reveal invis heroes in the team fight, especially because it's not worth. It's better to just buy a dust or buy a gem and use that instead, because you want to save the sentries for big team fights or when you know there's a ward and you can deward it in the first 25 minutes kind of. The second point of this video is gonna be sentry wards in the lane. I want you guys to think about your placements with the sentries where you want to block the enemy camps. I can recommend you already, do not block enemy camps besides the lanes. The only thing that is acceptable early on is blocking ancients if you play against heroes like Sven, Medusa or whatever. But other than that, please don't block any camps. It's not worth. There are way too many camps on this map. You cannot block all of them, plus the enemy carry will not care. You will just portal down to your jungle and farm that instead. So think about it. Only block the camps on the laning stage or the ancients when you play against certain heroes. Let's talk about 2 cool and effective sentry wards in the lanes. Like, first of all, use the ability you have on the map and place these kind of sentries. Like, as you can see, I placed a sentry down there. Why? Because it blocks the camp. And the enemy, like, let's say the enemy is gonna place a sentry here, he's not gonna instantly see the sentry. Like, use the map in your advantage. Also, on this side, do not place sentries here, please. Place them behind the trees. So whenever the enemy is like trying to find the sentry, he's gonna need to look around and move in the trees to find the sentry. And if he can't find it fast enough, you have enough time to deward the sentry. So use that effectively and take the advantage of it. On the Radiant side, it's kind of the same. Use the sentries effectively like this. Place it in the trees. Even there, the sentry has a good secure of enemy creeps, plus the enemy needs to like move around there to find the sentry. Same thing on this camp. As you can see, I'm placing a sentry here. It is impossible to find the sentry if you don't know the spot and if you can't cut through the tree with a quelling blade or whatever, some spells or some shit. So keep these wards and sentries in mind to never place them like here. It is not good. Even if you want to use an observer ward to block a camp, place them behind the trees or behind stuff so you can use the map as an advantage and you will stop the enemy from dewarding your sentries or wards instantly. Trust me, it happened so many times back in the day on me. Whenever I placed these like random sentries here, they got dewarded instantly if people realized it. So yeah, one more cool trick: if you play Dia offlane and you play position 4 or 3, you should buy always 1 sentry, not for blocking the camp, but you should like check here. You should stay here and wait until the tower hits you. If the tower is gonna hit you, you know 100% the Radiant has a ward up in the cliff. It works every single time, trust me. Whenever you do this, you will get the free deward. And a lot of people actually warding this cliff, so yeah. Definitely try this trick out and keep it in mind. Alright, the next point is I want you guys to stack your observers and your sentries on non-cliffs. That basically means if you place a sentry, I want you guys to place an observer right on top of it. Why? Because if you are lucky, the enemy will attack the sentry ward first. That basically means he needs 4 hits to kill the observer ward, plus it gives you more time to actually deward the enemy sentry or even attack him. It's kind of RNG what you're gonna hit first if you play against this, but using this technique can be very useful because you can fuck up the enemy's play. He wants to do a cheeky fast deward. It doesn't work because he needs to hit the sentry and the observer ward at the same time. And he doesn't know which one he's gonna hit first. So yeah, definitely keep that in mind. Use it in your games as well. Like sometimes people will just like need 4 hits to actually kill the observer, and it gives you like 1 or 2 seconds more to attack them or kill the enemy sentry so they can't deward it. So definitely keep that trick in mind. It can be very effective and very annoying for your enemy. Alright, the next point is if you're going to deward stuff on the map, especially cliffs, I want you guys to use these kind of sentries and take your courier, take abilities, or even place a ward down there to check the cliff. I want you guys to not place sentries on these cliffs. It is not effectively if you're just trying to deward. I want you guys to only place a sentry on these cliffs if you are in danger, in a team fight, or you feel like ganked very soon. Like if you feel in danger, you can do it. Like you need to be quick. But you need to understand if the enemies are using different wards than cliffs. Like let's say they have a ward here, and you place the sentry on this cliff, you're not gonna find this ward. Definitely be aware that you should not put these sentries every time on the cliffs, because you might lose an enemy observer ward because of it. Because you think, yo, I need to be fast, even though you have like 20 or 30 seconds to scout this high ground cliff and place your sentry down there. So please do not award cliffs besides in team fights, and if you feel in danger or if you're getting ganked or something. Like if you know the stuff, then you can place a sentry on the high ground plus the ward. But if you do not, try to use the sentries on the low ground, use abilities or your courier to scout high ground and deward everything, like kind of chill. There's no stress. If you know the enemies are on a different side of the map, just take your time. Even though if you take like 20 seconds or 10 seconds, it does not really matter. Just take your time and take a chill and take the advantage you have against your enemies. Alright, the last but not least point is use sentries to interrupt tree spawns. And now this sounds strange. You can also use observers, of course. But let's say you place this ward and you don't want this tree to grow back in 3 minutes because trees are respawning in 3 minutes after you cut them. You can just place a sentry down there. The sentry lasts for 7 minutes and the tree will not respawn for 7 minutes. Like try to use this technique, especially if you want to place these cheeky wards. You can like cut some trees, place a sentry down there. Then it is actually fine to place a sentry on a different position than an observer ward because you're using it effectively. Like in these kind of scenarios, it is actually very, very good to use that because you're gonna have the full duration vision on your observer because sentries are always lasting longer than observers. So yeah, definitely keep the technique in your mind as well. Sentries and observer wards block tree respawns for a long time. Alright, the video has slowly coming to the end because there's not so much to talk about when it comes down to sentries, but I want to talk with you guys about some things as well. I know a lot of people are picking invis heroes like Bounty Hunter, Ricky, Klinks, all these retarded heroes. If you play against these heroes, please always have a dust. Try to not use your sentries to like scout them. It is not worth at all. Like you need a dust in the early game, and after 25 minutes you need to buy a gem. Or like let's say 30 minutes. If you are in elite as your team and you feel strong, please buy a gem at 25 minutes, reward the entire map, and you don't have any problems against these invis heroes anymore. But overall, I would not recommend to use sentries for these like ganks or whatever on invis heroes. I would recommend you always having a dust ready. It's 10 times more effective, plus you're gonna save your sentries for different scenarios in the game, as we saw in the video. So yeah, I really want you guys to keep these things in mind, and I appreciate all the support. I got YouTube partner like 3 or 4 days ago, and I'm actually really happy with the growth of my channel, and I just want to say thank you to everybody. So yeah, we're gonna see us in the next video, and bye bye.